Welcome to Brick Wall Breakdowns, episode number 8. I'm Max Dean. You can find me on Twitter at TheMaxDean. I'm here with Kyron Samuels, the star of the show. You can find him at Kyron Samuels on Twitter, and he is a former Division I offensive lineman, former All-AFL offensive lineman. The guy knows a thing or two about offensive line play, and that's why we're back to bring you another prospect breakdown in the 2023 NFL Draft. This is one of Kyron's favorite prospects of the entire year. We have O'Cyrus Torrence, the guard out of Florida. Kyron, how you doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. And you're absolutely right. This is one of my favorite guys in the entire draft. I think he's one of the safer picks. I hate that term because there's no such thing as a safe pick right here. We're betting on these guys in some capacity, but he's one of the guys that I have the utmost faith in and the utmost trust in. So excited to do this one because I think people start to see a little bit of the same here. He'll go pretty high.
Yeah, I think so. And I absolutely saw what you saw in terms of the safeness. I mean, he just knows exactly what he's doing. Everything he does it looks easy. Doesn't mean it is easy, but you make it look easy, just it shows how much time you put in and how much mastery you have over your craft. So he's a big guy, 6'5", 330 pounds. He looks it. He's a viable mover. He's not a great mover, which is probably the main reason that he's not really looked at as like a right tackle type prospect. But he's great fit at guard. Used to play at Louisiana Lafayette, I believe.
Yeah.
Raging Cajun. Came over with the coach to Florida this past year. Played in the SEC. Did a great job. So we're going to jump into the tape. Do you have any other overarching notes that you want to throw out there for Torrance before we hit play here?
No, other we can cover all that during the clips. I think I'll get it all out when we're looking at the plays. It's always better to match a visual anyway. So I think we can
Sure
cover
thing.
everything we need to with him in the film.
All right.
Um,
So let's take a look here. It's nice to get back to offensive line where you only just have the one view, just like bang, bang, bang. Like you fly through offensive line tape in like 8 minutes. It's awesome. All right. Here we go. So he is the right guard, number 54 there.
yeah. And I think you see a little bit of like I wanted to put this one in there right off the bat because it shows you his athletic ability. A lot of people try to say that he's not because we know he's not a great athlete, right? He's not a great mover, but a lot of people have concerns about if he'll be able to fit in a zone scheme at the next level. And it just leads me to believe they haven't watched a ton of the tape because he ran a lot of zone at University of Florida. So you see him here when he's running like he's getting to the play side of the zone on the backside, like he's just scooping the backside here, giving a little bump. But look at his feet. He takes proper steps. He's not stepping over himself. He doesn't take false steps. He doesn't lose any ground. He gets where he needs to, and then he gets up on the second level. These are things that people have had concerns with this guy about. And I just wanted to kind of show some stuff that alleviates that against a great defense, not a good defense. This is a defense full of NFL talent that'll be taken in the first through fourth rounds. Within the next 3 years, all these guys will be on the NFL team somewhere. So he's doing it against these type of guys, and he has enough athleticism, and we know he has enough strength. But you see the athleticism, and you see a little bit of like the savvy here because a lot of guys lose number two. They get too involved and with 96 on the backside, and they'll lose him or they can't find him. So it shows a little bit of like his IQ and just his technical ability as well. Like his hips are where they're supposed to be square to the line, so he can get up on the next level. So it's just a really good rep all the way around here from O'Cyrus. And I think this will kind of like ease a little bit of those concerns from people that can he play in his own scheme? Can he do this? Can he do that? And one more important thing to note before we move on, he's also 20 pounds heavier in this clip here than he is right now. He's hovering from 330. It's like 335 is what I've heard from my Florida guys that say he's been really keeping up on his weight and doing well. Because that was another thing people had concerns about. Would he be able to get some weight off and keep it off? And he's doing a really good job of that so far. So you can even expect him to be a little bit more fleet of foot on the next level because he has that weight off his body now.
Yeah, and I think with an NFL nutrition program and weight room, I mean, he's definitely got the strength already, but the nutrition program is going to go a long way for him if he sticks to it. And I don't think that movement is a negative for him. It's just I don't think it's elite movement, right? He's not a guy that you want to put in. It's not what makes him a great prospect. Let's just put it that way. But it's very viable. Everything that he does here is very sound. So get off square, plants his legs, his hips are still square to the second defender that he's going to hit. I love how he doesn't turn his shoulders at all to throw any kind of like punch with his hands. He just throws his elbow right into the gut of 96 there. That's not going to feel good at all. So I
Yeah.
like that little move
And
there.
it's all about the technique, because a lot of guys
Mhm.
they turn their entire body and you're not able to get back through that down lineman, which you need to give your guys a little bit of help. Normally, the tackles aren't going to be as strong and as powerful as the guys on the inside. That's why they're inside. So he needs to be able to give a little bit of help, and he does a great job there, because that guy can screw the whole play, especially when you're
Mhm.
playing teams like Georgia that's running these mint fronts where they have 2-4 eyes. It really kind of screws with your principles and your just technique when you're doing these zone principles, because it's a different look. You're not used to getting them. So great job. I can't emphasize it enough. It's a great job from the backside guard on this play, and this is what I want people to see from O'Cyrus. Like, he's that good of an athlete where he can manage.
Mhm. And the violence too. He just
Oh yeah,
throws his entire upper body into that, and it's not necessarily a lean. I mean, it is kind of, but it works in that situation because he's really just trying to make his impact here. All right. And it's obviously it's not his fault that this play doesn't develop, because
right.
the rest of the line, not as good. All right. Next play here, coming at it from same angle. Again, 54 there.
But this is just another one of those reps. It's kind of the same thing from the previous rep, except he's working back to a different guy this time. Instead of getting to the play side, his responsibility is actually number 10. But it shows you a little bit of his acumen, his IQ. He sees that go away, and instead of chasing that, he fights back through the down lineman, and that's what you're really taught to do. So one, it shows his acumen, his ability to not only retain information but apply it on the field, because it's the same rep we just saw, except you have a different responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows what to do. He does the same technique. Look at his hips, still square to the line. Eyes are on number 10 where they're supposed to be. I would like for him to keep that outside hand out, but he sees it right away and he clamps it off, and that's just perfect. You can't ask for. Look at that running lane right there. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if that ball was going through, if that ball was going up the A gap right there, I mean, that's out the gate right there. So perfect from him, and I just love that he has his eyes in the right place. His technique's still really good, and look at the power. Once he gets his hand on this guy, he's moving this guy out, and he's had half of a man to start with. So this is another great rep from O'Cyrus, and this is the stuff that you're seeing that's going to translate to the next level. If he continues to do these things with his technique, his footwork, and his strength, his natural strength is carrying him through the end of the rep here. I think he's going to be a really good pro day one.
Great awareness. So he sees. All right. So this is I believe is an option, right? So he sees that number 96 could be a threat to the play, so he gets in there, keeps his eyes on 10, like you said. His entire body is square to number 10, and when he sees that number 10 bites hard, and he can tell from everything else that's happening that the play is going in the other direction, he just fully commits to 96. And I love keeping those legs moving, the leg drive there, right? Like, he's not just trying to anchor, he is trying to move him as far away from the play as possible, which he 100% can. And again, not his fault that this play doesn't work out at all.
Yeah.
This is tough, man. It can be, I cannot imagine how hard it is to be a really good offensive lineman playing on a team where you have so many plays that happen like this, just like keep your motor running consistently. So that's definitely a good sign. I mean, getting to the next level has got to be, uh, the carrot, I guess, a little bit, but still, it's tough to go a season in the SEC knowing that your team is not that good around you. All right.
Another rep from here. I put some of these reps in here just to show a little bit of his athleticism intentionally, because there's not a lot. I mean, I could show you some really nice power stuff where he's just mauling people. I could show you some stout pass reps where he was, just really look solid and he anchors well. But I wanted to show some of these because people had some concerns about his athletic ability, and these are some of the places to just show that off a little bit. I mean, look at the ground he covers. Like, first of all, look at his technique. Boom, no wasted movement here. His eyes are where they're supposed to be. His hips are nice. He snaps his hips as soon as he gets from the play side. He doesn't over pursue the angle and give up penetration in that way. He's just really smart. He's really technically sound, and he's athletic enough. Like, I don't even want to say he's athletic enough. He's a decent athlete, and he's able to use his strength once he gets in position. which his athleticism allows him to do
Mhm.
so. So I really like him overall because I think this is the stuff that can translate to the next level. And like I said, this is the perfect game to show it against because he's going up against probably the most athletic defense he would have faced outside of an Alabama or an Ohio State. So these are the type of people you want to see those reps against as well. And O'Cyrus gives you that.
Right. I mean, the thing about athleticism, and a lot of people who don't maybe watch film on a super regular basis might not quite understand yet, potentially, is that there are different kinds of athleticism. You can be nimble, you can be balanced, you can have burst, you can have explosiveness. There are guys that are super, super fast, but they don't really have that great balance, right? So it's hard for them to use that top speed, and stay uh, e- relevant within a play. So for him, he has very nimble feet and he has great balance, right? So he's always where he needs to be. And he might not be the fastest NFL lineman ever, but it doesn't matter because he gets where he needs to be on time and he maintains the balance really well. Look at the wingspan right here. I love that. So he's got the left hand out, makes contact with, I want to say that might be 88 there, but I can't, it's hard to tell. So makes contact with the left hand. He's fully seals the gap. He's literally touching his tackle on the left shoulder there to make sure nobody's getting through. And then is able to get leverage and the angle that he wants on the defender for that outside play. So really nice stuff here. Again, there's literally nothing to criticize here that I can see. All right. Just a couple left, I think.
This is one. This is one of the ones where I wanted to show a little bit of just the mean streak, the nastiness.
Yeah.
You just get to see a little bit. First of all, he does really well with the game here to pass it off. First of all,
Mm-hmm.
he does a really good job of knowing where he has to be first because that's a tricky look. If you go back, just coming off the line right here, like he actually has a guy head up over him, and he shaded a little bit. But normally you probably blocking that guy, right, and just working to however y'all have worked it out that week. If you're going to slide, whatever you're going to do, this is not an easy thing to do. So he identifies the guys. He knows where he's going. His technique. This is what I want to emphasize. Look at his feet. Look at his base. He's always I won't say always. He's almost always in a great position. Look at his hips. They're always square. Legs about shoulder width apart. Look at that hop step. He anchors extremely well. And not only does he anchor, watch him pass it off here to 58. His eyes are where they're supposed to be. He knows what he's doing. And then, this is a little bit of a gray area here. I don't think this will be called at any level, but you never know. But
yeah.
But just look at the nastiness. Look at how he finishes through the rep, man. Like he just slams.
Love that, yeah.
And this is JDJ. If you know this kid, Dumas Johnson, he's going to be, I won't call him a first round pick, but he's going to be an NFL guy one day. He's going to be one of the best linebackers in college football this coming up season. He's one of the best, right? So you get a guy like that coming off the edge, and they do this to create mismatches, and he just eats it up. He's a great, great, great talent, and he's smart. On top of the strength and the athleticism and just the wherewithal, he's just a really smart guy. And I don't think he gets enough credit for how smart he is. And I just love watching him on tape because you don't see this a lot. A guy that can do a little bit of everything well, and he's one of those guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not hiding the rush here, but with the number of bodies that are around him, it's not the easiest thing to manage, knowing exactly who you need to pick up. So he takes on, I think, 93 very effectively. He stonewalls him. And then right here, even though he's coming, this is not easy to see, right? You got a tackle in front of you and a defender right in your face. And he is 100% aware that he's coming across here. It's a tough play to disengage from that. And not only does he disengage, he literally, like, when you say pass off, sometimes that means you block a bit and then you let go. He literally hands him off to the tackle here. Like, I don't think you could put him in your lap any better than that. And then he's able to turn. Yeah, does he reach out and catch him a little bit? Yeah, perhaps. My guess is that's not holding because I don't think it's close enough to the quarterback to probably get called. But it's aware, and then, like you said, so again, what we do is I clip up a bunch of plays that I like for various reasons and then pass them to Kyron, and then he selects a few of them. So I was hoping that you'd pick this one because that does not feel good.
Yeah,
300 and 30
He's probably
pounds,
about
300, whatever.
350 there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just
Oh.
the mentality too. Like you can't teach that. Like, of course, you can get a offensive line coach that instills a little bit more of a dog in you. But when you
Mhm.
go out there and you're tired, like this is late in the game, it's dark out there, right? The game started during the sunlight. It's late in the game. You're 350 pounds. You're going up against the best defense in college football, the deepest defense. They have the most bodies, them, Alabama, Ohio State, that they can just keep them coming all day. And you're still out there, have that mindset and that energy and that wherewithal to finish. That's just something that you truly cannot teach. And O'Cyrus has that on top of the stuff that you can teach, like the technique and some of the IQ stuff. So I really just love him overall as a prospect. And this is just one I had to put a solid pass rush rep in here because I wanted to show like how well he anchors. Like once he gets his hands on you, it's pretty much over from that point. And his feet are almost, like I said, almost always where they're supposed to be. Some people kind of critique his wide base a little bit, but I don't, because he's not a waist bender. He's a natural knee bender still. Look at the knee flexion right there. Look
Mhm.
at the hop, the anchor. Like he's really, really, really good when he gets his hands on you. And that base is part of the reason that he's so powerful and he can anchor so well. So as long as his hands are in the right place, that's not going to be an issue for him on the next level. And he normally does a great job with his hands. Look at that. Can you remind it from the beginning? Like
Yeah.
this is some high level stuff. Look at the hand flash here with the inside arm. Boom, just showing him that and get him to stop his feet for a second.
Mhm.
Flashing that punch will get the defenders to stop their feet for a second, and that gives you a chance to get your hands on the inside while they're thinking about what they need to do to counteract or to get their hands on you. He's trying to defense lineman tries to swipe him here, tries to do a
Mhm.
hand swipe, but his hand's already flashed and he can't get to it. So
Mhm.
little things like that allow him to use his natural power and his natural technical ability. And I just love seeing stuff like that from college guys because you don't see that a ton, even at the NFL level, because it's hard to do.
Mhm.
So to see a guy at the college level be able to do that is really, really nice.
Right. So you get that you flash the punch with the left hand, tries to swipe, and then times a really nice inside punch with the left hand. The right hand ends up a little outside, so he takes that hop back, re-anchors, and then you see right there, he's resetting to get back inside, and then the rep is over, and that's it.
Yep. And then
And
once he's in
then
the air, make him pay for it.
nasty.
That's the number
Yep.
one rule. When you're in the when a defender's in the air, whether you're engaged or not, you got to hit those ribs and get him in the ribs. So
Uh-huh.
he does. This is a textbook rep. Like you said, the only thing he probably could have done a little better was get that right hand in on the same time as he got the left punch in after he flashed it. But that's just nitpicking. I mean, from snap to whistle, that's a great rep, and that's teach tape right there. So really, really enjoy Osiris because that's what you see consistently. It's not just this game. He didn't just get up for the Georgia game. Like, when he's playing, I believe they played UMass, or I can't remember who exactly they played. They played some smaller schools that weren't that great. It looks the same. He dominates the teams he's supposed to dominate, and he dominates the team that he probably shouldn't dominate because you think about, they're Georgia, they're whoever, they're Tennessee that has those deep talent pools, and he still looks
Mhm.
the same. And that's one of the things you have to really applaud for college guys: consistency. Because a lot of college guys get up big games and maybe don't have a great game against the lesser schools, or the inverse. They have the great games against the lesser schools and maybe not the best against the bigger schools, but he looks the same every week. He has the same technique, the same power, the same ability. And that's one of the things that I really value from prospects coming out. And he's towards the top of the list if we're talking about consistency from this draft class. From the Lafayette tape to the SEC tape at Florida, he's been consistent from day one. And I think he's going to continue that on the next level. I think he'll be a Pro Bowl, All-Pro type guy within the next 3 to 4 years. And somebody's going to be lucky to have him.
Yeah, definitely a comfortable year one starter. Um, and I think, the lack of elite athleticism is probably the only thing that doesn't have him in the same conversation as some of the other guys who've come out in recent years. Guys like Elijah Vera Tucker or, um, whoever else, Zach Martin. I think everything else he has comfortably, and there's no reason that, you should overthink him at all. We didn't have any plays against Jalen Carter just now, but he looked really good against him as well,
Oh
right?
yeah, there was a
So,
couple against, and there's one that Jalen Carter you saw a little bit of when he missed his punch a little bit. And he got into his breastplate a little bit. He drove us sides back a little bit, but it wasn't like a hurry or a sack or anything like that. So
mhm,
those are the type of things that you would like to see because I don't even think there's a ton of Jalen Carters in the NFL if we're going to be honest. I mean that cat's a little
agreed.
bit different. So if you're able to do that and you're able to anchor well against a guy like that, you're able to go to battle with a guy like that. And pretty much, I would say he came out on the better end of it. I mean, the team game, that's one thing, but the game within the game, I thought
Yeah.
O'Cyrus more than handled his business against a guy like Jalen Carter, and I don't think anybody else at the collegiate level could say that. So that just lets you know how good the guy is all around. And I'm really excited for both of those guys on the next level, but especially O'Cyrus, because I don't think he's getting quite enough respect. And I think when they look back on this draft class, however it shakes out, he's going to be one of the guys that end up being the best from this draft.
Yeah. It's true. And I think the way that people talk about Skoronski, they want him to be a guard. And that conversation kind of muddles up the rest of the good interior offensive line class that we have. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about a couple more really good players. My particular favorite for interior offensive line we'll talk about, but it's very different from Torrence because Torrence is so ready. And some of the reason that my favorite guy is there is some projection there, but it's a bit of a traits versus production conversation. But we'll have that tomorrow. So looking forward to it. Kyron, thanks for joining me as always. We'll be back soon. Of course, you can find all of our other prospect breakdowns here on the channel, as well as our live streams, which have been a little bit here and there, but we are definitely going to get back to our consistent scheduling after the draft when all of this sort of extra film breakdown is over with. But you can find our written content over at defianttakesfootball.com. We have a team mock draft that we did with all the writers, which is really, really cool. 3 full rounds, so you'll be able to see that up over there. And you can find me on Twitter at TheMaxine. You can find Kyron at Kyron Samuels. And, of course, Defiant Takes Football at Defiant Takes on all social media outlets. So give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We appreciate all of it because we won't have, 10 breakdowns a week coming out, but we'll definitely have plenty of good stuff coming. We will see you all very soon.